Hi everyone, it's Khani. I am videoing from the forest in Jerusalem. I'll show you a bit around. It's so beautiful here. I love it. Yeah, and I'll turn the camera around. You can see down the hill. So I came here today with one of my good friends. She's a health and wellness coach. Her name is Rachel Rose. And she and I were talking about communication. That was our topic for the day. So she told me the story that I just thought to myself, I have to share this with everybody. So I'm going to share it with you. She had a client who was in a little bit of a fight with a friend. She was about to move and she was in a very big situation. She was a little bit flustered with other things happening in her life. And she told this friend that, I have to do the A, B, C, and D. After I get those done, if they all get done, I'll be able to come see you. So the other friend was waiting on to hear what was going to be. She decided that, you know what, I got my schedule done, but I really can't go see her. I need to go do something else instead. So she just kind of did it and then sent her friend the message and said, oh, I'm sorry, actually I'm going to be doing this instead, and told her what she was doing because she wanted to communicate honestly. The friend wrote back to her and got really upset. The friend said, no, I was relying on you. I thought you were going to be here. What happened? So then Rachel had asked her, she said, how come you chose to do something different after you had made plans with her and told her you would come? So she said, I really it was what I wanted to do. I really needed to do it. And she said, what did you get from the decision that you made by doing, the other thing? So she said to her, it was something that made me feel good. And it was what I really needed in this time where everything was so chaotic and crazy. So Rachel obviously nodded her head, as she always does. And then she says to the girl, and what if you had what if you had seen your friend? What would that have been like? She said, oh gosh, it just would have been horrible. It would have been just not easy. And it was not what she wanted to do. So there was a moment of silence, she told me. And they both sat there, realizing the reason behind her decision, which is always the most important thing, to understand the reason. And she said to her, is that something you think you could communicate? You don't need to say, anything about the details, but just to explain to her that you made the decision. And she says, yeah, but, I was in the wrong. I shouldn't have done that. So Rachel told her, you're taking responsibility, for something, one, that you feel that you did do. And it's okay. We all make mistakes. And it's good to take responsibility for your mistakes. And, you're only human. So why don't you tell her that? You can apologize. You can say you're sorry, as well as explain the reasoning behind it, how it was such a hard day and you really needed to invest in yourself and to do other things. And you didn't communicate exactly correctly in the beginning. It was okay, because that's part of life. And that we're not perfect, and, sometimes that's just how it is, and all we can do is just work on ourselves. So she smiled at Rachel, and then she called her friend, and she called Rachel back later to tell her what happened. The girl was so happy she communicated. Obviously, the situation wasn't what she had wanted it to be, but she said, thank you so much for handling this like an adult. And I'm not, happy that it worked out this way, but I really, really appreciate you communicating with me, and thanked her and told her that she responded with such love. And, it was just so nice. And to see the smile on my friend Rachel's face as she told me the story, it really emanates how important communication is, and that we really we have to communicate, and it's so important. Even if we don't get it right the first shot, there's nothing wrong with that, because sometimes it's even more gratifying to go through the learning experience and to know what it's like to say, oh shoot, I made a mistake, and then to come back and say, I'm going to try again. And then you see when everything works out after, we get back up and we try again. And how did she do it? She got in touch with herself. She figured out what it was that she was feeling, so she knew what to communicate. Because that's another thing, is we often don't even know what to communicate. We know that something has to be said. We know something has to be fixed. But we don't know what or how. So that was exactly what my friend Rachel helped her figure out. And I think there's a huge, huge value and a huge lesson in this. And I was inspired by it. I'm thinking about what am I going to do later today because of this story. But yeah, so I wanted to share this with you. And, for yourself, just think about, in times where you have to communicate, where were you coming from? What could you tell the other person in a situation where there was miscommunication? And then figure it out from there and see how it plays out for you. You can comment below if there's any interesting stories or ideas that come up. I would love to hear about it. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day. Bye.